Arizona is known for its beautiful skies, but for years the state has been fighting against light pollution, and we actually have more certified dark sky places than any other U.S. state. Tonight, a group of documentary filmmakers at ASU tell us what some people are doing to preserve and protect it from light pollution.
The stars are part of our history, part of the foundation of whole fields of like math and science. You know, the stars have famously been used for navigation. That is such a big part of our history that everyone deserves to connect to forever.
Everybody in the world has a right to a starry night sky, and that it shouldn't be taken from us, and we should do all that we can to preserve it.
Think about how many people over eons of time have stared up at that sky and just dreamt. I could only imagine a world where our youth isn't able to see the stars in general. It would be one of the greatest losses of humanity.
Growing up in Arizona, I had the opportunity to learn about the stars from a really inspirational teacher who really helped me form a really strong connection to the stars.
When I was a kid, I lived in New York. Nobody ever told me why I could see 8 stars at home, but the planetarium showed thousands.
So when I moved up to Camp Verde, one of the big reasons why I moved there was they just became the 20th International Dark Sky Community. And I was able to find this beautiful little creekside spot, go out in my backyard and I see the Milky Way every night.
Everybody grows up with a certain amount of knowledge. They come with certain backgrounds. They're not always exposed to knowing about light pollution.
Which type of light pollution? Because, there's several, right? So we have, our sky glow that minimizes our ability to see the fractal imagery of the stars.
If you take, even a short drive away from a city and look back at it, you'll see just sort of a glowing sphere. People call it the light dome or the sky glow. Once you know what it looks like, it's pretty clear. We
are not increasing by 2% a year worldwide in terms of the rate of light pollution going up, but nearly 10%. And you're almost at the point of no return. So we have to all participate in as little or as much as we can to reduce the levels of light pollution worldwide.
I never thought about the color of lights having such a big impact. These orange lights don't scatter as much in the atmosphere, meaning they don't have quite as much of an impact on the sky.
And why that matters is everything that we see is because the color is present in the light that it's projected.
As LEDs started becoming the norm, it was found that we lost quite a few stars for the same amount of light.
Certainly gas stations, any retail establishment generally, it's because they keep it on for safety purposes. The newer locations, I have to put together when I'm doing a design for, say, a parking lot. I have to put in both pre and post curfew calculations. The more we do this, the better it is for everybody.
You have to use it responsibly. That means using lights that are more reddish than blue. Blue light actually depletes the melatonin in your body, which allows you to get enough rest at night. It maintains your circadian rhythm. It has actually ties to things like obesity, depression, all sorts of things.
It basically affects what we do. I mean, if there's too much light pollution, you can't see fainter objects. And the objects I'm interested in, the Kuiper Belt objects, are small objects. They're out in the outer solar system. So I need a big telescope to be able to take data on them, to take an image of them.
We are trying hard on all those fronts to try to mitigate the impact of light pollution on our lives, not just for the research factor that astronomers try to protect, but there's actual solutions to that. Well, it begins at home. In your own home, you can look at your lights and say, are these lights needed? And then you can do things beyond your home. You can do things with your city. Tucson's been very good about keeping their lighting as subdued as possible because they know they have an observatory 65 miles away. In fact, in 2019, they changed out almost 20,000 lights, and they saved an incredible amount of energy $2 million in terms of energy savings. So all this stuff they did because the government was conscientious enough to take the right steps.
I mean, I don't see how you could get the U.S. government to get involved in that. It's just not going to happen. It's got to be a locally driven thing. And that means you've got to have people or astronomers doing something about it.
I was asked to give a talk in Norman, Oklahoma. I influenced the students there, and they went out and they got a full map of their city, and they could tell the city where lights should be changed and where not. It took 2 years, but they actually succeeded in making their laws stricter.
We are our best advocates for everything, right? For our health, for our community, and if we are involved, if we are present and in the moment and we vocalize, we make change.
There's an organization called the International Dark Sky Association, and they actually measure the brightness of the sky. So there's lots of places in Arizona now where you can go and know that you're going to see a real sky.
What did you see on the moon?
Lots of craters. It's white and pretty cool when you see all the details and it's up close.
Kids should know that there's things out there bigger than them. And, you know, using your imagination and being able to explore, I think that's when looking up in the stars, it sort of inspires.
You just don't see those kinds of things without something like this. And so the fact that this is a dark sky city and they have so much pride in everything and to be able to be so open and teaching people, we're lucky.
Being able to look at the night sky and go, oh wow, that's gorgeous. It's sort of a transformative experience that most people don't have.
Without this source of beauty, we lose part of ourselves. We lose the inspiration that you need to be creative, to think outside the box, to be a writer like Shakespeare talking about the sun and the moon in his sonnets, or Van Gogh to paint Starry Night. All this inspiration comes from just viewing the night sky.